And so it ends as it began. Jesus' story is often eclipsed. He was born outside of a town. He was led to death outside of a town. He was born with very few witnesses. He was led to death with very few people watching. It seems somehow that God's salvation story, the climax of which we are celebrating today, it seems to be a story in the shadows. But it's there for all of us to find. God comes after us even when we are far away from Him. His love for us never fails. I remember when I was young, we used to go for Good Friday worship from 12 noon until about 3:30 in the afternoon. And every pastor that came and preached on the 7 words of the cross would preach about half an hour, 40 minutes per sermon. And then the whole thing would be wrapped up with another sermon that would take another 40 minutes long. There was no aircon, only rickety old fans that were way up high. And in the whole process, it occurred to me more than once whether we are trying to match Jesus' suffering on the cross by going through such a long service. Of course, today, many of us find it very inconvenient. In those days, people used to take time off or they would take a day off and come for these most important of services. But today we are way too busy, and somehow it seems that the service is not so important, and we have sort of relegated it to an evening service, pack it under 1 hour, and it's done. Maybe that's not so good. Maybe we actually do need to pause. Maybe we actually do need to stop our routine and look again, once again, at what God has done for you and for me. As we look at Jesus suffering on the cross, sometimes we look around us, we see this COVID-19 pandemic going on, we hear a lot of stories of people, families being broken apart, we hear many tales of people dying. It seems like there is still so much suffering in the world. But why did Jesus suffer then? Should we not stop all this suffering? I really don't know. I don't know why God allows suffering in this world. But I think one of the reasons that we are going through this particular time of MCO and being isolated, cut away from our busyness and our entertainments and our pleasures, is simply to bring us back to Himself, the most important thing in our lives. I don't know why we suffer. I don't know how long this is going to go on. But I do know that the God who sent His Son to die for you and for me continues to walk through us. And that's the whole point of Jesus coming. And that's why Christmas and Good Friday come together. Simply because Jesus entered this world to walk with you and me. And as we go to sleep this night and prepare ourselves for Easter, let's not skip over Holy Saturday, a day of pause, a day of reflection, a day of quietness. Amen.